multiple mental breakdowns. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. We're going to be doing my monthly reset vlog once again today, and I cannot believe the fact that it's already August. Where did July go, and can I have some of it back please? Because it did not stay for very long. If you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Emily. I am a senior at Clemson University, and I've also been a working from home graphic designer for about 8 months since January. So if you're into any sort of working from home, productivity, college, lifestyle content, definitely subscribe and join a little family here. If you aren't new and have noticed that I have had a little bit of a scenery change, that's because I'm in a totally different house. I am currently house and dog sitting for my high school best friend. So one of their dogs is laying next to me. She's my little work buddy. And then there's another dog that's sleeping in the room behind me out here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started because it is currently August 2nd and July has come and gone at this point, and we need to get this video up and going. So let's go ahead and do another little reset. I've been doing these videos since April, and in the past I've not really had much structure, but I'm trying to really structure it out a little bit better. So I like to, before I do anything else, do a little bit of a declutter, both digitally and physically, before we do all of the mental and emotional decluttering. But because I'm currently not at my own house and I don't have access to my personal laptop right now, I cannot do either of those things. So we're going to flip-flop this video around a little bit. There might be some segments in here that are sporadic. When you see this setup again, we'll be doing my monthly reflection, but in the meantime, I'm going to send you to future me to do the digital and physical reset declutter situation.
Summer rain on the window. Watch the time float on. Cool air blows a memento as I fall behind. I'm so sorry for dreaming about the future. Maybe I'll be better when
Thank you to Past Me for that introduction. So you saw me do my physical declutter. I did that actually yesterday as I'm filming this. So I have a clean room for the first time in like a month, which is absolutely amazing. So now we're going to stay on my computer for a little while and do some digital decluttering. So I'm going to put all of the things that I don't really need anymore but still want to keep on my hard drive. We'll delete some things. We'll also do a redesign of my desktop background for my school because I am starting school in a couple weeks again. So we're going to do that. We're also going to redo my Notion because my Notion has been the same for about 2 months and it needs a refresh. So we're going to spend some time on the computer and start doing a little bit of refreshing. Updated everything and I am so happy with how this turned out. So I decided to go with a little bit of a warmer golden hour type of theme. I also inserted a little bit of Disney, which you can tell I have a little bit of a Winnie the Pooh theme here going on, which is adorable. I think whenever I think of the month August, I think of Taylor Swift, because who thinks of anybody else other than Taylor Swift when they think August? So I went with a little more of a golden hour warm tone sort of vibe, and I absolutely love it so much. It reminds me of sunshine and just happiness and sort of like the dawn of an era and the beginning of a new one, which is my school year starting. So I really love this. So I used the pictures from my Notion page to redesign my desktop wallpaper for school, which was so cute. So I'll have that picture up here because I forgot to time-lapse it for you guys. So it is just sort of up here. It is so cute and pretty. It looks exactly the same as my Notion page and I am absolutely obsessed. So that was what that looks like. I also used those same pictures to redesign both my phone and my iPad's like aesthetic because it was getting kind of old. So here's what my phone looks like. This is my lock screen. I just found this picture on Pinterest, which I'll have my Pinterest in the card so that you can use any of the pictures that I'm using because I found a lot of really cute things. but I found this picture that was just the word August on this like white linen material. It's so pretty. And this is what my first page of my home screen looks like. So I have the same sort of picture here. And then I also have a calendar and a couple other little widgets here. And then the next page has a little Winnie the Pooh up here. So it is so pretty and cute. I might still tweak it a little bit because it's not quite what I was envisioning, but it's still a really good starting place and it's a nice change of pace. As for my iPad, I actually didn't redesign my lock screen at all because I have this vision board that I made at the beginning of the year. I actually have a video on that. It's my yearly reset. I'll have it up in the cards and the description, but I still really love this. So I ended up keeping this as my lock screen for my iPad as well as my desktop wallpaper for my personal like profile on my computer. So I'm going to show you what I did for my like main aesthetic home screen situation. So this is what I was envisioning for my phone, but it ended up working out way better on my iPad. So this is the first page. It is so, so pretty. This is the second page. It's so cute. I absolutely love it. So I think I did a really good job on these and I'm so excited to use these for the month of August. So I'm going to send it back to past me to keep going with this video. Thank you to my future self for doing all of the decluttering for me physically and digitally, because we're going to hop into Notion to do my mental decluttering, reflecting things. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not sponsored by Notion in this video, but I do have an entire video dedicated to Notion that is also not sponsored, by the way. It's up in the cards and the description because I absolutely love Notion. It has been my lifesaver this past year. I started using them in January and I just absolutely love them. So I'm going to also have all of the links to all the templates that I use throughout this video in the description so that you can duplicate them and download them yourself because they are so, so helpful. So we're going to kick this off by going into my monthly reflection first. Hopping into this monthly reflection, we have one word to describe this month. And I think that the one word to describe this month would just be stress. Good stress, bad stress, all the stress happened within this month of July. And I'm grateful for it because a lot of it was good stress, but there was a lot of bad stress that happened too. And it was just, some of it was better than others. So we're just going to leave it at that because I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in just a second. The next section of this template is memorable moments. So I like to separate this between the highs and the lows of the month. A lot of people do this on YouTube when they do their reset videos, and I thought that was a really good idea. So I have a lot of highs, but I also have a lot of lows, and this time I actually have a couple more lows than highs, even though it was a really exciting month for me. So we're just going to go right on into this. So for highs, we have 3 of them. We have going to Galena, which I did the first week of the month, and that was so much fun. It was a family vacation, and I just had a blast. So that video is actually a travel vlog up in the cards and the description because that was so much fun to make. I just don't know. Travel vlogs are just so fun to film and make. So I ended up doing that, which is really fun. I also, on Friday, as I'm filming this, got home from my very first work trip. As a 21-year-old, that's kind of saying something, especially when you're not an influencer. I'm not paid to go to like influencer events. This is like my work from home graphic design job that let me go to this conference that happened. That was in Nashville and it was so, so much fun. I have a travel vlog of that too up in the cards and the description. It's actually my latest video, so go check it out because it was a lot of fun to make. I am just so grateful to my company for letting me come to that conference because it was so eye-opening and such a fun experience. And I really loved getting to actually meet my colleagues because I do work from home. A lot of my colleagues are actually on Central Time. They're all based in Iowa and Illinois. I never really get to see them physically, so it was really cool to actually get to meet them in person and hang out with them. And they were so much fun to hang out with, so I'm very grateful to my company for letting me go on that trip. And then another littler high, well, littler, but it also was big in my head at least, was that my skin is finally starting to get clear. I've had hormonal acne since I was about 13 when I started puberty, and it's just not ever gotten any better really, but recently my skin has gotten so much better, and I think it's because I'm on a couple of prescriptions now. I went to a dermatologist finally, and I think it's working for the most part anyway. Obviously I have a couple flare-ups, but that's just because my period is coming, so ignore that. I feel more confident in myself to where I can go out in public without wearing makeup. Like, that's a big deal for me. So my skin is starting to get clear enough to where I feel okay without filming without makeup or going out in public without makeup on. I just have felt a really good sense of self-confidence in myself while having clearer skin. This is the clearest skin that I've had since I was like 12, so that is saying something. I changed my angle up a little bit, maybe, I don't really know. Anyways, we're gonna go through my lows next, and I'm actually going to start with the one that's at the bottom of my list because it is at the forefront of my brain right now. And you wouldn't think that it would be a low, but throughout the last couple days it has been, which is really sad. It's the fact that I'm dog sitting. I was more than happy to dog sit for my friend. I did it last year too, and it was not bad at all. But this year has just been so stressful because the 2 dogs that I am dog sitting are very elderly. There's a black lab that's 13, which if you know anything about bigger dogs, you know that they don't really live more than that. So there's that. And then the other dog that we have here is a 15-year-old Jack Russell, and she is also kind of on her last legs. So as much as I'm honored and happy to help my friend, it's just a lot of stress and responsibility in the fact that, like, we don't think these dogs are going to live for much longer. And it's just so much stress. I didn't know how involved it was going to be this time around until I came over and my friend's dad, I should say, was telling me the whole lowdown of their situation. I was like, what did I get myself into? Because I personally at home do not have pets. I've never had pets of my own. So going from somebody who's never had a pet to caring for 2 elderly dogs that have to have a lot of care, it's just so immensely stressful. I've had multiple mental breakdowns the past couple days because of it. And it makes me so sad because I've loved these dogs for about 7 years. That's how long I've known this friend. And the fact that I've known them for so long, and it's likely that they won't see past December, it breaks my heart a little bit in multiple reasons. Not just because the fact that these dogs are on their last legs, and I'm such a people pleaser. I kind of wanted to say no in the beginning, but I was like, it's gonna be fine. You were fine last time. We'll do it again. And I said yes, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I wish they were a little bit more upfront about it. No, to be frank, my friend has not been home for very much this summer, so she didn't really know the amount of work that went into caring for them. So when her dad was telling me all of these things about what I had to do for them, it wasn't just stressing me out, it was stressing her out, which was in turn stressing me out because she was stressed out about the fact that there's a lot of things happening with them. So I hate the fact that I am the person that they trust the most with these dogs because I don't know what to do if something were to happen to them. If they were to leave spiritually, I'm not going to try and say the D word because I don't want to get flagged, but like if they were to suddenly not be around while they're gone, I don't know what I would do with myself. And I hate the fact that I'm actually talking about this because it makes me so sad to even think about, but it also makes me so anxious. Like I said, I've never had pets before, my own pets anyway. So caring for 2 elderly dogs is just so much to keep track of. First of all, there's so many medicines and so many things, so many little quirks that I have to keep a lookout for. It's a full-time job. So I'm grateful for the fact that I don't have to go to work. I can stay here all the day with them because I don't know what I would do. One of the dogs has severe stomach problems now, so I have to make sure that she's eating okay. She's lost a lot of weight. The black lab is who I'm talking about. She is 50 pounds. You can see her bones, which is so sad, but they think she has some sort of diabetic situation. I have to just keep an eye out for that, and she will go to the bathroom at least 5-6 times a day. And the other night, I was having already a bit of a mental breakdown, and she decided at midnight, basically, to go to the bathroom in the kitchen. I'm so squeamish, so it was just not a good time. I mean, brain, my brain is short-circuiting. Needless to say is what I meant to say. It's just been a lot. It's been hard, and I'm ready for it to be done, which I feel so guilty for saying. I feel like this is just turning into a therapy session. The 50 people that are probably watching this video are my therapist right now. And I'm sweating because I want to put the fan on, but you wouldn't be able to hear me if I did that. It's just, there's a lot of things happening. So I'm just going to move on because I could talk about this and talk myself in a spiral for hours, and we're not going to do that. So, keeping the good vibes going. They're not so good vibes, but anyways, work. has been kind of a low, mostly because it's just been so stressful. This last week has been insane. Multiple of us this past week at the conference had mental breakdowns because of the amount of stress that we were under. It was for good reason, to be completely honest. The branding team that's in charge of not only the company's branding, but also all the sub-branding for any of the events, there's only 3 people on that team. And we're pulled in multiple different directions. It's just a lot to handle. And the entire marketing department for a company of 500 plus people is 10 people. It does not make sense to me. The department should be double what it is. I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to go there and sort of be a cushion for them because they really needed it. But the fact that a couple of my close coworkers had mental breakdowns and had to like collect themselves in a closet because they were crying, it's just so sad. The fact that this is such an exciting event for a lot of the people at the company, yet it causes so much stress. So I'm glad that the event is done and that the last 6 months, 7 months of work of stress are now gone. I don't have to worry about it. And this week has been smooth sailing, which I'm grateful for. So that's been something that's sort of been a low. My boyfriend just texted me, hold on. Moving on, we're going to go to the fact that I hit a little bit of a YouTube burnout again, just a little bitty bit, mostly just because of the amount of things that were happening this month. I was traveling for 2 weeks out of the month, and then I was at home doing work things. I was pre-filming and editing a bunch so that I could keep things up on YouTube. And to be completely honest, I fell off of that quite a bit, as you noticed probably. It is what it is, but I think I'm coming out of it slowly. Once this week is done, I think I'll have a good grasp of everything again. But the fact that July was so crazy, it was very stressful, as I've talked about. Stress in a word, like I said. So we almost hit YouTube burnout. Thankfully, I was able to give myself grace to skip a week when I was at conference, and that meant the world to me. So I was able to do that, which is great. And the fact that this is not my job, this is just a hobby. I love making videos and editing them and putting them out for you guys. So that's the reason why I'm so stressed about it. That was something that happened. And then the last thing that's on this lows list that I'm not going to get into too deeply because it's a lot of personal things. We've had a lot of family illness and personal problems sort of spiraling this past couple months, and July especially. We got some sad news from multiple family members about their illnesses and things. So it's just been very stressful for not just me but my family on that front. Those were definitely some memorable moments. The next section is called I Learned, and I'm really hoping that you don't hear the chainsaw that's happening outside, but you probably do, so it is what it is. I've said that a lot in this section of the video. Anyways, I've also said that a lot in this section of the video. The next section is called I Learned. So things that like life lessons that I've learned throughout the month that I want to remember. So the first thing on this list is to try to only worry about what I can control. This is something that I'm still working on. I've always been really bad about this. I'm such a people pleaser and a perfectionist, and those two are not a good combo. So worrying about things that only I can control has been hard because I want to be able to control every little thing around me. It's the anxiety and undiagnosed ADHD in me that wants to do that, but it's getting a little bit better. I'm starting to do that a little bit more, so that's something that I'm trying to work on and learn, but I've noticed it in my brain sort of switching. Another thing that I learned is that it's not that deep. We're literally on a floating rock in space. Does anything really matter? I don't really know. To not really dabble into all of the specifics of a bunch of things. Every little thing does not need to be dissected into its minute details. It's not that deep. Move on. Don't worry about it. Just brush it off. It'll do what it needs to do and then move on. That's kind of vague. I don't really know where I was going with that. And then the last one is something a little bit more positive. It's the fact that you're doing better than you think. I have such perfectionism issues that I thought something at work, at the conference especially, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? And I apparently was given very many compliments behind my back. So that goes to show that you are your worst critic. You're doing better than you think. Keep your head held high and you'll do fine. So that's what I've been telling myself anyway. The last section in this monthly reflection is things that I want to improve on. There's a couple things on here too. So the first one is my screen time. It has gone up again. I was proud of it last month because it was low, but this month it was very high, and it's mostly because I am a procrastinator. I like to put off things to the last minute, especially if I don't want to do them, and I end up scrolling for hours, and it's bad. So we want to work on that. And then the last thing on this list is to work on my self-judgment. I've talked about this for about 3 months now. So if you guys have anything that you want me to make, please let me know in the comments. I would love some recommendations. I want to make what you guys want to watch as well, so let me know what you guys think. But yeah, self-judgment on YouTube performance. It's not been great, but it's also been better. The more that I'm posting, the more it's getting traction. We're just going to use that to our advantage. Keep posting, keep enjoying what I'm making, and it is what it is. We're not going to put too much stress on it. That has been my stressful July. Hopefully it wasn't rambly, but it probably was. So sorry about that. I don't know about you guys, but I have personally been in a bit of a funk, and I feel like there's just something in the air because a lot of people on the internet, at least the people that I'm watching and listening to, have also been in a funk. So I don't know what the problem is, but because of that, I'm actually not going to be making any new goals for this month. I looked through my old goals to try and talk about them, but they just discouraged me because I actually didn't achieve any of them from last month, which is sad. At the same time, it's good because I had other priorities and I'm not really one to work with goals very much. Like, it's nice to have them, but I don't want to have them just to like set them for the video, so I'm not going to worry about it this time. Instead, we're going to set an intention for the month. So sort of like a word of the month thing that I did for my reflection, except it's something that we're going to be working towards for the whole month. Just one big overarching thing that I would like to work towards instead of just having like a checklist of goals. So even though I'm not actually going to be using my goal setting Notion template, I'll still have it in the description below because I feel like even though I'm not using it, maybe you could use it, maybe you'll find it helpful. So it'll be down there for you guys. So speaking of Notion, I'm going to go into my dashboard over here. This is the old version of my Notion template, so I'm not going to show you. You've already seen the new version. I'm going to hop down to my August intention for the month, and I'm just going to read you what I have on here because it's a little bit hard to explain. So I'm going to read this off to you. I have called this intention willpower. So I said to myself, even if you don't want to do it, your future self will thank you. Because I am a chronic people pleaser, I even want to please myself if it's not just like present me that I'm trying to please, because present me will be like, you don't need to do that right now. You don't want to do it, so don't do it because you need to make yourself happy. But if future me wants to be happy, I can't not do the thing because then future me will be unhappy. Does that even make sense? I don't know if it does, but I'm referring to myself as like two different people here. So if I can play that mind trick with myself, I think I'll be able to get out of this rut just in time for the school year to start. My school year starts in roughly 3 weeks. Hopefully this ends up working. It's gonna be a very disciplinary thing on my end to make sure that I can keep up with this because I don't want to just say it to myself and then not go through with it, and then nothing will change. So I have the power to make a change that is positive and will help me in the long run. That's basically what I'm trying to get out here. That is the end of this August reset. I feel so good about this month. I'm really hoping that it's less stressful than last month because it was a doozy and I talked about that already. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I would really appreciate it. And definitely subscribe for videos from me if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.